Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit about one of the first team comps that I usually teach people when I start coaching teams. I've coached about over the last 2 years, probably 25 teams, and of the ones that were in any sort of competitive play, they've all reached the playoffs of their respective divisions. I've been coaching for a long time. I've worked with HEC teams. I've worked with teams in the Open Division. I've worked with teams in every single division in both NGS and Heroes Lounge. That being said, guys, there's one particular team that I recommend so often more than anything else. And that team comp I call the Training Wheels team comp because it teaches a very important thing when it comes to playing competitively. And that very important thing is how to call targets and how to follow up on targets. Every single team comp needs to be able to take out the target that they're aiming at, or else certain healers in this game will be able to out-heal the damage, and you'll go back to essentially not getting anything done. One major piece of HGC, and you're going to notice right here, I stopped them from getting any of the soak from these minions that are dying by dismounting them and fighting them, and it costs them to get less experience than we do. But with that being said, in HGC, one of the most common things that was said near the end of HGC is that things started to die too quickly. It was very similar to League of Legends in that if something got caught by anything, it would die immediately. Well, that still exists in this game. Damage, in fact, tanks have actually gotten weaker since HGC, and damage has gotten stronger for the most part, which means that we're in a situation where things die faster than they've ever died before, yet games aren't really playing out that way. So when I teach teams this team comp, they tend to win a lot more than they lose once they understand this playstyle. So in Training Wheels, what I mean is, if you guys are not familiar with training wheels, they're essentially just something that you use to make learning a difficult topic a little bit easier. Riding the bike is dangerous, but learning how to ride the bike without an area of failure makes it easier to learn how to ride that bike. And it's the same idea here. There's a very small room of failure, so you get to learn what this team comp actually does. The team comp is based upon, when I was talking about blow-up comps, stall comps, and wombo combos and whatnot, it is a blow-up composition. The whole point is to teach people how to call targets and follow up on the called target. So, every team comp in this is going to have a setup, a follow-up, and burst. What I require when I'm teaching this is a Varian, a Tyrande, and a Jaina. In this case, the support player didn't play Tyrande, so I said you can play Anduin, but I didn't explain how Anduin's played. But the way you play Anduin is you follow up a taunt with a root and with a light bomb. That way, every taunt that's followed up is going to be followed up with a root and then a stun. And that's how it's usually played out. But you can play many supports. I mean, you could even just do a root from Malfurion, possibly a silence from Malfurion. There's a lot of options that you can do. You just need a taunt. Now, the way this team comp works is that if you're going to notice something, now you won't hear my shot calls during this, but before every person that I'm going to, I will always say, I'm looking at Zul'jin, I'm looking at Zul'jin, and I'll say it usually twice. Then you'll start to see, and let me pull up my paint really quick. You'll start to see the team start approaching, right? And when they start approaching is when this is actually working, is they heard what I said, and now they're approaching. So if you saw, right as Zul'jin appeared, I said, I'm looking at Zul'jin, and the Imperius moved from here up to about here. And what this is going to do is this is going to make it to where when I finally charge, my entire team should be all a little bit closer to where they're all in range to follow up the target. Now, in this particular case, we only had one that was in range. So when I ended up making this call, I charge, I taunt, and we have one person to follow up. The Jaina did hear it and did walk past the minions, so the Jaina also appears and does some damage. But we only have the initial stun and taunt, so we didn't lead to that kill, and that's okay. And this is how this comp's going to work. I took a group of people that I don't normally play with, and I wanted to show them how easy it is to learn this process and to learn this team comp, because it's such a powerful team comp if you get used to learning this team comp, because it just does so much damage. So I'm going to break down the builds that I recommend on these heroes as we're going through this team comp, but I'm also going to be interrupting myself with the playstyle as we're going. So, I like Overpower, and I'll show the reason that I like this after the game is over, because this is a very important talent for doing a lot of damage. This was another thing that I called out. I saw a few of the people rotate ahead of time, and I called out that Zul'jin was going to be the last one rotated because I saw that he was there, and he has to rotate to get to his team. So this is another thing where if you know where someone's going to be, this team comp is amazing, because look at how fast we kill a target. Boom. The root didn't even land. They died before the root even landed, before the taunt was even over. But it would have landed if he had any extra health. So now we work on the objective. And we just want to... And I called out Mephisto ahead of time. And Mephisto should die. So the reason that I called out Mephisto ahead of time is because I knew where he was going to go. So I said, I'm looking at Mephisto. And I walked past him. And then when he teleported back, I immediately taunted him. We do kill Mephisto. Because we have damage over time. I did a couple attacks just to make sure that he couldn't get healed through it, and then we took him out. So ultimately, that's essentially how this team comp works. You call out a target ahead of time, you say, I'm looking at this, and so the shot caller for this needs to usually be the tank, but you can also have, anyone shot call. You just need to make sure that the tank says who they're looking at. When they're looking at a target, then you have the tank go in. After the tank goes in, all you really need to do is have everyone kind of in range to where when the tank goes in, he's going to taunt, and then you're going to go for a kill. I recommend taking your taunt off of on release if you have it on release, because there's a couple taunts that I actually miss because I pressed the button and then I didn't release the button fast enough, so my mouse moved away, because I'm going with different settings than what I normally do when I'm playing Varian. So right here is, I believe, the first instance of this, where I say I'm looking at her, I charge in, and I don't ever taunt her. And did you see how everyone followed up expecting that taunt? If I would have landed that taunt, that would have been a kill. Because everyone on my team followed up exactly how they should have, because I did do the shot call. I said, I'm looking at Li Ming, I'm looking at Li Ming. Then I went and revealed her in the bush. She moved away. I charged her. I would have taunted her, but I messed it up. And I'll explain the rotation of abilities after this game's over. We're going to fast forward just a tad. Actually, I told my team to break the sidewall as well in case I wanted to charge in for anyone, but we didn't end up doing that. So this team comp can be interchanged by a lot of things. Varian, essentially all you need is CC. So again, charge, I missed the taunt immediately, but then I got it later, and then I didn't get the taunt on her. I got the taunt on someone else. And this is actually a strategy that you can do, where if you're going against someone with the cleanse, you can charge to trigger the cleanse, and then you can save your taunt for another target that might get a little too close. So where I'll say I'm looking at Li Ming, but I'm not going to taunt. I'm going to taunt another target. Then everyone knows not to throw their CC at that target, and then you can taunt a second target and get a kill. But that gets a little bit more complex, and there's not a lot of healers that have cleanse these days, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. I would focus primarily on just getting your team to follow up on stuff. Initially, when I made this team comp, and it was based off of the Pro series that we've been watching, HGC, and they used a lot of heroes for this. The heroes that I recommend these days, I love ETC, because his stun, his basic slide that you get as early as level 1, lasts for 1.25 seconds. Well, taunt also lasts for 1.25 seconds. So the only thing that you miss out on is the amount of damage and the visibility. You visibly see Varian charge in, taunt one target, and it's very obvious when it happens. It's also point and click, so there is just that slight higher chance of landing it, but I rarely miss a slide on ETC, so if you guys are missing slides, you just need to adjust a little bit. And then also Varian just does a lot of damage. So when you have Overpower and you taunt someone, you're going to get a few crits right after, one after another. So what happens is you effectively get one crit because it's already weighted on a heroic strike cooldown. Then you're going to use a W, a taunt, and a W until level 10, which then you'll only have one W. And you'll get crit enough times that your next 2 to 3 attacks will also be crits as well. So you can see crit, crit, and one more auto attack would have been another crit. And so that's kind of the thing that you want to be doing, is because if a lot of people are attacking you, you're going to lead to multiple crits there, and that's okay. So it does a lot of damage. That being said, with this team comp, do not over-focus on the team comp. This is a training wheels to show you guys how to shot call kills. but that doesn't mean that you should just follow around your Varian wherever you go. If you taunt, right in this situation, it's not going to lead to a kill because my team wasn't near. So you need to make sure that you're taunting only things that your team is near. In this case, we taunted through an entire Ancestral Healing and still got a kill. The amount of potential damage is seriously unreasonable. I'm not even kidding. It's so high when your team's all in the same place. We saw in HGC, in fact, I have a video why the pros play Deckard, and there is a area where there's a team that kills a 100% health Murden who had Avatar on. From 100% of his health down to nothing, and they did it in a few seconds. And once again, look at how reliable the damage is. That was just from 2 people. Now imagine you had a Tyrande to follow up that stun. Imagine you had the Light Bomb on me. There's a lot of situations where this can be very, very valuable, and it's extremely strong. So, you can replace the tank with any sort of guaranteed CC. Anything that can call the target ahead of time, charge in, get the kill, right? Or at least get the CC. This means that I personally like Varian, ETC, Diablo does work, but remember that you're charging people away. So you need to make sure that you're even closer to your team. Anubarak is also really good. Anyone that's going to be charging from really far away, make sure that you're starting with your team much closer to you, or much closer to the enemies, and than you are. So those are always great. I pick up Shattering Throw so that we can start killing the Joanna. So you're going to watch, I'm going to start calling targets on the Joanna. I'm going to break her shield with a Shattering Throw, and then I'm going to taunt her. In this case, I taunted the wrong target, but we still killed Joanna. And that's kind of what I do, is at level 13, I'm like, we can now kill Joanna. And I actually think that this is a great team comp to counter Joanna, because once you hit 13, she can't be the one in front, because even she will die with enough follow-up. In this case, we drafted a little bit of Burst. The Burst that we drafted is essentially Leaping Strike, as well as the Jaina. And Jaina, I think, is very, very important for this, but you can draft any sort of Burst. So the tanks that you can draft, anything with CC, the burst that you can draft, in this case, I corral all the minions on this side so my team can all just channel on the other side. But the thing about it is you can draft any tank with CC that's guaranteed. Try not to do like a Murden because you don't know if you're going to be able to land it, right? And she does that. I throw a crit at her and breaks her shield. But yeah, as far as the burst, anything with burst, I like Jaina. I think Jaina is my absolute favorite for it. A backup could be Orphea because you can still throw a whole bunch of stuff. If you're fighting away from minions, Li Ming can be great, but the timing needs to be perfect. And Li Ming was actually one of them that the pros used quite a bit. The pros, as far as burst, they really liked Li Ming and they really liked Greymane. Those were kind of their 2 go-tos for burst, but we started seeing later versions of this comp use a lot more Jaina. I find that Jaina is just very easy to use. And then finally for the healer, I like anything with CC. This could be a Stukov with a root. This could be a Anduin. This could be a Tyrande. This could be a Malfurion. Anything that has any sort of CC to follow up. Roots, stuns are preferable because if you're starting to CC things that have like an escape, you want to make sure that you have them locked down for a little bit. But so my perfect version of this team comp, and I've mentioned it in the blow up comp, is Varian, Jaina, Tyrande. And the plan usually goes taunt, followed by stun to the Tyrande stun, lower their armor, and have Jaina do everything that she possibly can. And so the first objective of this game, we were able to take 3 forts out of it, which is very beneficial. That might have actually been the second objective of the game. I don't remember. And I love this team comp for that. Again, this is the first one that I always teach teams. I wouldn't teach this comp to a lot of people that are not teams, only because, and right here, I wanted to wait to see where people were going, to see if they wanted to check this. If they check it, we kill someone. If they don't check it, then we don't kill anyone. Right here, again, was another situation where I wanted to go for a charge. We didn't get it. I think if the vision didn't end up coming through first, they wouldn't have known. But with the vision going through, then they knew we were somewhere. But that's okay. I think the vision also could have been a little bit of bait too, because if we put vision there, then they would have been like, oh, they're on boss, and we could have jumped in. But I didn't want them to come prepared. But that's okay. At the end of the day, you get to use this comp creatively. Don't ever limit yourself just to this comp either. A lot of the teams that I first teach this comp, they over-focus on the composition itself. What they'll do is they'll go, oh, let's all stick together, all 5 of us at all times, and they lose out on soak. What I always tell people to do, have two people still doing, like, your mage, your Jaina, can still go around and soak, and especially before level 4. If you notice, guys, I was in the solo lane until level 4, because honestly, you don't even really need to worry about doing anything until you have taunt. So I was in the solo lane. But other people can do other things as you're going along, like Jaina can still go for camps, and we can still go for really whatever we want to. Which is something that I always recommend, is don't over focus on this team comp. Same thing with wombo combos. If you have a Zeratul with Void Prison, a Diablo with APOC, and someone else to follow up with that, don't always have those three people follow each other around at all times, because you're going to be wasting the utility that those bring. Jaina brings a ton of camp clear, a ton of wave clear, so don't always like overthink that. But when you guys are together, make sure that you're calling out ahead of time. Say, I'm looking at this person, I'm looking at this person, and then when you charge in, you just shout their name over and over and over. One of the teams that I coached, they did that exactly like that, and I love it. They're like, I'm looking at Zul'jin, I'm looking at Zul'jin, I'm looking at Zul'jin. Everyone moves forward. I say, then one person charges and taunts. They go, Zul'jin, 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 and it covers the entire comms, but that Zul'jin dies. And so that's definitely something that you can do, and it certainly works. So in this case, I told my team that if you grab the bottom boss, it's actually faster to back and then go to the top boss than it is to just run directly to the top boss. So if you try to run from bottom boss to top boss, the difference, even with the movement speed changes, the difference is negligible. So this allowed us to get bottom boss, get top boss, and we're going to be able to go to the objective and get that as well. Naturally, you have a 5 team that is coordinated, so you can kind of get away with some of this stuff, but remember, this is to teach teams that are not used to these things. Now, if you're wondering, let's say that this video gets popular among those that are in Nexus Gaming Series with Heroes Lounge, stuff like that, and you're wondering how to counter this team comp. Anduin is one of my favorite counters, because from the first CC, you can pull someone away, and they no longer will take all the burst damage from Jaina, or Orphea, or whoever you're using. Another option is Medivh and Tassadar, because Medivh can stop all of the damage, which is then where you need to get more creative with your engages. As you've seen, there are times where I will charge someone to bait the cleanse, and then I will taunt someone else. In those cases, you may want to do something like that. Now, they're not perfect counters, because especially Anduin's not a perfect counter, because I can taunt every 15 seconds, but on the other side, I can't, you can't leap of faith every 15 seconds. So there are definitely options for adjusting it. Medivh, you want to run more sustained damage. See if he burns the shield ahead of time. If he burns the shield ahead of time, then you taunt. So by drafting a counter pick doesn't mean you're necessarily going to win, but it gives you more play to deal with it. Cleanses are okay, but you've seen, even with cleanses, once we throw all of our damage out, we can usually still chase you down. But the best is Leap of Faith, shields, armor, anything like that is great against those. So Zarya, Tassadar, Medivh, and Anduin, those are all awesome. I would say Medivh and Anduin over the other two, especially if you're good with Medivh. It's very good. Right here, I told my team not to push, and my reasoning for not to push, and this is a strategy on this map that I haven't seen anyone talk about other than myself, but I know other people know this strategy, is you want to build up momentum, right? You don't want to kill all of these and have one wave go in and die immediately, and then the second wave go in and it's a smaller wave. You want the objective to push with like 2 to 3 waves of minion if you can. So I always recommend not pushing until you build up and you let these waves show up. But there's a secondary reason. The secondary reason is sometimes when you don't push with this wave, the enemies will try to come closer to kill it off earlier, and if they do that, what's going to happen is that you can just kill them, especially in this team comp. So I told them not to push, and I'm not pushing because I want them to be there, but I said, I'm looking at Zul'jin, I'm looking at Zul'jin, I'm looking at Zul'jin, and what do? We end up just going straight for her because she used her thing too early, and we kill her. And so these are the things that you can do every once in a while when you have these types of objectives in a team comp like this. But yeah, the big counters to this team comp is essentially it's more on the healer side or the support side. Another thing that you can do is any quick CC that you can do to kind of prevent it. Stukov's a good one where they go to charge in and you immediately push them away. So that maybe the taunt lands, but you're missing a bunch of damage, and you can push their whole team away. You can silence the whole area if they run more melee things. Like Greymane is a very common one that's used in this team comp. And again, we just drop someone. You got to be careful about counter engaging against this comp, because every 15 seconds they can blow someone up. So if they try to blow someone up and they start running away, you don't want to counter engage, because, or you don't want to like follow them up, because if you follow them, they're going to wait 15 seconds and they're going to turn around and kill someone. We're back with 15 seconds again, and we can go right back in and try to kill another person. So if Li Ming steps up too much, I say I'm looking at Li Ming. You see everyone start walking up in front of me because I called that out. That is essentially how this plays out. This is the team comp. This is how it runs. You get kills left and right, and you can absolutely just drop anyone. And it is a really, really powerful comp. And I'm surprised more people are not doing this, because it's so strong. Don't overthink it, and I can't stress that enough, because I can't tell you how many times people overthink this team comp, and they just have 5 people following around each other and you win in macro. Make sure that you're still using macro. You only need 3 people to make this team comp work, which means that your 5th person, still worry about what you guys need or what counters the enemy team. Don't over-focus and say, oh, well, let's run Burst in the 5-man as well, like Imperius. While Imperius does certainly work, he just wanted to play Imperius. I did not tell him to play Imperius at all. Same thing. Your 4th damage dealer, because you have a Burst damage dealer, I recommend a Sustained damage dealer, which is why I like Lunara, because Lunara can do that Sustained damage, or she can be a backup for the Burst. I like Greymane. He can do Sustained damage or a backup for the Burst. I like Sylvanas. Once again, has Sustained damage. She can back up his Burst. So all of those are options for extra damage dealers that are just like to fill out the rest of the team comp that you might need. Extra CC is always nice. In HEC, a lot of people use this with Bunker, where they would charge in as an extra CC to follow up, and then if it started going south, like a Medivh did something, or let's say maybe they did anything that would just stop it, they would bunker, everyone would hop in the bunker, they would all get armor, they would pop back out when their cooldowns are back up, and they would burst someone else. So counter engages, bunkers, things like that are awesome. Try to avoid enemy counter engages like Gust. And Gust is also another great counter to it. They charge in, you gust everyone away. Again, 60-second cooldown, but you might have prevented a bad situation. And whenever you're preventing a situation, usually the answer is not as good as setting up something. So that's something that you can definitely do. But that's essentially it. That's the team comp. That's the blow up comp. And it's just blow up comp made so easy, because the tank is a very easy job. Press E, press R, press W, auto attack, press Q, dead. The mage has an easy job. Throw all of your abilities in one spot. The support has an easy job, because following up the CC is going to be super easy when everything's standing still. So everything about it is so easy, which is why I call it the Training Wheels team comp, because that's what it is. It is the easiest way that is less punishing than any other way to run a blow-up comp. Now, I'm going to break down the builds that I recommend. You guys know the team comp now, but I will break down the builds for new teams that want to play out this team comp. I'm going to show you guys what I recommend and why I recommend it. So first and foremost, I'm going to pick Varian, and then I'm going to change the enemy hero into... let me make myself level... even level 4 is fine. But let's just say level 4, because that's as early as you're going to be doing it. I'm going to change the ally hero to no one, and I'm going to change the enemy hero to a Tracer. And the reason I'm going to do the Tracer is primarily to show you what getting attacked a lot will do, because normally you get attacked a lot right after you taunt. I recommend Overpower and then Taunt. The reason I recommend Overpower is the amount of crits you can get on a target will increase your damage. So this will make it to where you do 140% bonus damage on your next attack every 18 seconds. But you're going to refresh your crit every single time that you take a basic attack while you're blocking. And that crit is going to be doing 40% more damage. So you're going to be doing an auto attack that's doing... 86 damage plus 146 plus 40% of 146, which is like 50 something, 57 or 60. So this is what it's going to look like. When you're ready, you are going to charge W, taunt, auto attack, Q, auto attack. You can do about 80% of a Tracer's health with your combo alone. And she was even attack or reloading for a portion of that too. But you can do 80% of an assassin's health on your own. 70-80% of an assassin's health on your own. That's why I like this build so much. Now, if we get into level 20, I'm going to show you the rest of the build that I recommend, but do not think that this is the build you have to go. So, what I recommend: overpower, taunt. You need the overpower for that extra burst damage in the early game. Taunt is how the whole combo runs. Second wind. I like it just because I can heal no matter what situation I'm in. Victory Rush, I'll pick it on maps where we're fighting near minions because it does heal for more if you're fighting near minions. So Dragonshire or possibly Towers of Doom. Every other map, second wind. Shield Wall, 99% of the time, because you're going to be charging in, and a lot of people's answer to you charging in is do damage to him, scare him off, which that won't work because you are going to use Shield Wall every single time that you're going in and taunting, so the initial damage that you're going to be doing is going to be doing nothing to you. It also keeps the cooldown really low, so you don't need to use both charges and then have no charges when you're ready to charge in. Cooldown's going to be very low. That talent saves me more than I can say, and you don't really need your charge cooldown to be lower because you want it to be up every time that you taunt. As far as this level, Mortal Strike or Shattering Throw. Shattering Throw against Joanna and against Tassadar, against Zarya, anything like that. Mortal Strike in every other situation. Because you're always going to be landing a heroic strike, this again reduces the chance that the person's going to survive. Now they are going to essentially not be moving. They're going to have their healing reduced, and you're going to be doing 80% of their health by yourself. So Mortal Strike is what I love. At this level, it is up to you. I usually go armor, but Dalaran Banner is also really good, especially since you're trying to blow people up very quickly. Then you add one extra button that you need to press during your combo. You charge, you taunt, and then you drop down a Banner of Dalaran, and they take 20% extra damage. But all of these options are really good. Try to take whatever you need. I primarily do armor. And then finally, this level, you will not need this. Being hit by a basic attack reduces the cooldown of taunt by 1 second because you're only going to get opportunities to do these blowups every 15 seconds or so. Probably not even that. Every 30 seconds or so, because your team also has cooldowns. You getting lower cooldown doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a kill, which is why I like both of these talents instead. Increasing your healing by 50% is awesome. And then it also is going to reduce the cooldown of your banner by 50%, so you're going to have a banner coming out every 25 seconds. Then Demoralizing Shout, I love this as well, reduces everyone's damage by 40%, so you charge in if you don't blow something up, you take no damage, right? But if you do blow something up, it's over. I prefer Glory of the Alliance, though. That is my favorite talent on this tier. But you can go with really anything. And that is the Varian build that I recommend for the blow up comp, and the reasons why I take all of those talents. Now let's get into the Jaina build. I've made a million Jaina videos about this. The build is just the standard build. I'm not going to make another one too into it. I'm not actually going to go into the game and explain why, but I will just quickly show it. Just so you guys know my normal Jaina build. I go Fingers of Frost, 10% increased damage, and it's pretty nice on the mana. I go the Pierce, so that you're more likely to hit the target that you're actually trying to hit. If there's minions in the way, a tank in the way, whatever, you still hit the target you're trying to hit. Level 7, I like Iceland so I can lower the cooldown of my Q. It speeds up camps, and none of these talents really increase your DPS that much. So, or damage. I mean, this would increase your damage the most in short bursts, but this also just increases your DPS, makes camps really easy. This doesn't increase camp damage, so I go Icelands even after the nerfs. Level 10, both of these are very good. Remember, the taunt lasts 1.25 seconds, and then it's usually going to be followed up by something. If you have no other follow-up on your team, if you use this right as the taunt is going out, then in 0.25 seconds, they won't have enough time to move away. So this could be a decent follow-up if you needed it, but that's an 80-second cooldown that's going to be following up a single taunt, so I don't really recommend it. I personally I feel no one can ever go wrong with Water Elemental because it always gets value, but Ring of Frost is certainly a really powerful talent as well. Level 13, always Icy Veins. It's the second ultimate ability. I just never go anything else, because worst case, even if you're bad at using this in team fights, you can pop Icy Veins and down a keep in under 30 seconds. Actually, sorry, you can down a core in under 30 seconds. You can down a keep in under 10 seconds. So that's why I always recommend Icy Veins. It's just such a powerful ability. Level 16, lower armor is what I usually recommend. Yes, you can chill and speed things, but if you're lowering the armor, they're dying faster. And then level 20, Ice Blink is a much shorter range than people think. It's shorter than Cone of Cold's range, so I almost never recommend it, because if you just need to chill people, you've got that, and if you're using it to escape, you're still dead. So I always upgrade my ults, lowering the cooldown of Cone. If you're in a blow-up comp, that means that you're going to be able to get more blow-ups. As far as Winter Mute, I mean, this is just insane damage. Winter Mute with Icy Veins is where I get my numbers for killing keeps and cores. But yeah, that is my Jaina build for that. And now let's get into Tyrande, and I will explain a little bit about how I recommend using Tyrande to follow up and do CC and all that. So with that, let me again set the level. We'll just make it level 10 for now. Let's remove the ally, and we'll remove the enemy. And we're going to head over. So the build that I recommend, there are difficult versions of this and easy versions. Easy version, go Everlasting Light. But I'm just going to share the difficult version for now. This is the end-all, be-all. Elun's Chosen, you heal one person by quite a bit. I usually recommend throwing this on a diver and then focusing your heals on the front line. But if your tank's taking a lot whenever he goes in, throw it on the tank when he says, I'm looking at, you throw Elun's Chosen at it. Lunar Blaze, you need this because you need the extra range. You can hit people even if you were really far away. He says, I'm looking at someone, and you're further away than you should be. You can still land the stun, which is awesome, which is why I like this. Don't overthink the quest, guys. The quest is the very small piece of this. And then as you go into the later levels, this is up to you. I usually go CDR because if you're picking Tyrande, you're going to be a little light on healing. And then it's up to you again. Europe is almost exclusively using Shadowstock in the competitive scene, while North America is almost exclusively using Starfall in the competitive scene. When I watched CTV run Tyrande a bunch, they said that they liked Starfall because it just increased the chance that they were going to kill the target that they were focusing on. So they would Starfall on the same target that they were using everything else on, and it would increase the chance that they would get kills. While I was talking to Europe, I talked to a couple of the members of Granite Gaming. They pretty much said that the reason that Shadowstock is so powerful is not because of the invisibility. It's the fact that Tyrande's healing is rather low, and having an instant button that allows you to heal everyone at the same time at the same rate is just really nice for when fights get chaotic. It also gives a global aspect, which makes it very powerful if the fight gets spread out. So take it with a grain of salt on either of these. I think they're both great ultimate abilities. Choose whichever you prefer in that, because it's really however you want to do it. That being said, let's head over and take the... we're going to take Starfall just to kind of explain how this combo works. But essentially, when the first taunt goes off, your E is guaranteed to land. So what you do, or at least what I prefer to do, is use an E, a trait, which is your Hunter's Mark, followed up with a W and an R. So the combo would look something like this. The tank would say, I'm looking at target dummy. I'm looking at target dummy. I would then go and I would give an Elun's Chosen and get in range. He would charge in. I would then use E, lower armor, and then that. And that's essentially what it would look like. And then I would mash Q and start healing my team while the all of that's going off. Right? So as far as healing per second, you're doing about 300. As far as DPS, you're doing about 250, a little bit more than that, because in the shorter duration of the burst, you're actually going to be doing so much more initially. So let's toggle cooldowns again, and this is what it's going to look like really quickly. And that's it. 500 DPS and 600 healing per second, right? Very, very quick, instant healing, instant damage, and you should be getting a kill every single time. Remember, you're going to be increasing the damage of everyone on your team by 15. So where we had the Anduin and we were still killing a Mephisto, 100% of his health down, including the health from Ancestral, imagine now you can do 15% more damage than that. That is the potential of this team comp. It is insane. You have enough damage to kill literally any hero in the game. I think the only exception is maybe Deathwing because he has 40 armor and and you can't CC him to stay in the range of the Jaina. So outside of Deathwing, you should be able to kill everything else in the game. This is the Training Wheels comp, guys. I highly recommend, if you are in NGS or Heroes Lounge or any of those, no matter your rank, I recommend trying this out, because this is something that everyone is lacking. I'm watching the highest levels of North America in NGS and going, they don't even know how to call targets. And I mean, the better teams do, but even like the heroic division, some of the mid-range to lower teams, like, they're not even calling targets correctly. They're not drafting enough CC, and they just are not getting kills that they're setting up. It's almost always a setup on their tank, and then nothing happens. And I'm like, where is it? I watch Granite Gaming, and they blow up anything that the tank touches every single time. And the only team that's ever even holding their own against them is the members of Washed Up, and they're even struggling. Like, their whole team comp is always about, like, oh, can we stop that initial burst and then follow up? And that's it, guys. So practice this team comp and you'll start dominating. Try it out, and yeah. But if you guys have any questions, throw it down in the comments below. People usually will answer a few of them. But yeah, sorry for not having a video out in a little bit. I'm going to try to get a bunch of videos out really soon. I've got a big idea for a series coming out really soon for some I don't know, some breakdowns and stuff. I'm excited about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to check out my other videos.